My brother calls me yesterday about a problem with his kitchen sink drain that's backing up. He removed a bad garbage disposal and then called the plumber. The plumber advised him to replace the garbage disposal with a standard drain and trap due to how low the undermount sink was in relation to the actual output pipe. So my brother agreed and asked for a quote to route the drain and build a new trap. $1,200. You heard right, $1,200. Find out how we saved over $1,000 doing a quality job ourselves. Well, before I rush to judgment on the plumber for overpricing the job, I'm going to try to figure out why his quote was so high based on the information my brother gave me. Let's start with determining the cost of the parts based on my brother's description and estimate the cost there. So we need a basket strainer. A good quality stainless steel one is less than $20, but let's say he went with a high-end Kohler one like this. That can run you about $80. Let's go with a high-end tailpiece from there with a solid copper dishwasher drain branch. And then my brother mentioned that the plumber was going to go with a commercial grade 2-inch copper drain. So I'm thinking, okay, that's probably something like this, which is a high quality cast brass trap that you can sweat into. And then we'll need other various 2-inch copper fittings, like maybe a street elbow and some straight pipe. Okay, so going at the highest end, here's kind of the prices I'm thinking. So in addition to those materials, I added $150 to auger the drain. The plumber mentioned that he would just do a little bit of augering to make sure that inside the wall there was no blockage, which there ended up being a small blockage, but that my brother was able to do himself. It was about maybe 10 feet inside the wall. He was able to do it with a little hand auger. And he said it would take about a half day. So let's add, I'm going super high end, $175 at 4 hours, just because this is in the city of Chicago. So, everything's more expensive in the city. I'm going to go super high end on the hourly rate, and I get just under $1,100. So I still don't see $1,200 there. So obviously my brother didn't do it. He went with me instead, and so we're going to build a plastic drain out of PVC, but we're not gonna use a crappy little kit that you buy at the big box store. We're gonna do most of it with Schedule 40. It's gonna be very durable and high end. So let me show you how we did it. Okay, we're gonna start at the wall here. We have a 1.5-inch nipple coming out of the wall, and I'm gonna put a 1.5 to 2-inch neoprene coupler on that, and that'll transition us out of the wall and into our 2-inch PVC. So from there, I've got a piece of 2-inch PVC onto a sanitary tee. It's all 2-inch, and that's not glued. It's just mocked up right now. Then added a 2-inch fitting with a cap to make a clean out. And then we'll start working on the sink side of things. So we played around with a couple different basket strainers. I like the cup style one, but unfortunately those are too deep. So I'm gonna go with a more standard stainless steel one where it has the ring at the top. I don't like these, but they're much more shallow and have the room I needed. So I went ahead and got the putty on it, pressed it in, and I tightened in the ring from the bottom side there with the gasket. Here's the underside. I've got a direct fit tail piece with a branch for the garbage, for the dishwasher, and it's cut off there. And here's the dry fit. We've got the solid glue and trap, 2 street 90s, and then what will go into the 2-inch will be a small piece of 1.5 into a bushing there. So I'm just mocking everything up from each side, and then we'll go ahead and start gluing. Okay, now that everything's mocked up and measured, I'll pull it all out and take it all back apart. I'm going to start with gluing together all the pieces that don't require any kind of positioning, meaning everything but those elbows for right now. And I'm using a clear PVC primer. I like the clear because it's just not gross and purple and messy, and especially under your kitchen sink. The only reason you need purple is if you're getting something inspected so the inspector can see the primer, but clear works great for this type of purpose. Then I'm just using PVC glue. Again, glue both fittings, and put the fitting in, twist it, hold it. You got to hold it for about 10 seconds, or otherwise the fluid dynamics will make it kind of pop out. But once you hold it 10 seconds, it'll stay in there and it'll be glued there solidly. So this is just finishing this piece up, and then we'll go ahead and install that and then move on to the elbows. Now the street elbows require positioning. So what I did was I took a little Sharpie and marked both sides of the fitting so that when I go to clean it, prime it, and glue it, I'll twist the glue on so that those match each other, and I know I have the correct positioning as I mocked it up. Okay, so I didn't show the gluing, but when I glued up those two elbows, as they were drying, I pushed the trap in to mock it up to make sure that as they dried, the trap is going to fit in perfectly. So now all I'm doing is gluing in the final and last piece, which is the trap, and I glue it in and hold it in. And so this, I noticed I took the drain cap off the bottom so that, if I needed to push it in there, any air could escape either way. But yeah, just holding it in there, and that's the final glue fitting. Now the cap can go on there. That's nice because since everything's glued up, if you lose an earring or something down there, you've got that little drain plug you can pull out. And here's the final piece. We've got everything glued up, everything looking good, and we got our sloping kind of back into the sanitary tee. We've also got a back slope down into the wall, and everything's looking great, and it's very serviceable. Okay, so how did we end up doing on cost here? So in our new setup, which is not as fancy, it is PVC, but it is still solid and quality made and works great. There we are. So $70 approximately in cost as opposed to $1,200. So I'd say that's a success.